A beautiful river walk. My name is Jose, or Capitan Jose.
Kapitan Jose.
For about the next 25 minutes, 2.5 miles along the river, we're going to enjoy some of the sights and sounds that we have along this river and a little bit of the history. If you do have any questions, feel free to ask. I do got to present a safety issue, and that is if you do accidentally fall into this water, please just stand up and walk across. It's only 3 feet.
Oh.
Don't do the dying cockroach on me out there and start flapping around all over the place, and I have to get a life vest to go rescue you. But I think we should be okay. We're at the first event right here. This is called the River Center, the Shops at the River Center, or the River Center Mall. This is the second biggest mall in San Antonio, right here in front of you. There's over 1 million square feet of business space here, and this was built in 1985 for over $250 million. Well, somebody's tax money's right here. I was playing G.I. Joe in the jungles of Panama around that time. But I love it. The tourists love it, and the San Antonians love it, because this boat going up and down the river, believe it or not, is the second major attraction in San Antonio, is this boat.
Please.
Our first major attraction is the Alamo.
Alamo.
Right here to your left, where I picked you guys up from, this loading area to us is considered to be our most popular one. And I always say it's because we have such a wide variety of beverages in there. But I always warn everybody, because their most popular drink that they sell out of there is those frozen margaritas. And their frozen margaritas, they're mixed with Everclear. That'll definitely give you a nice warm touch to your body pretty quick. But it's the most popular drink. Everybody loves those frozen margaritas from there. If you see the bridge in front of you here, as soon as we pass this bridge, take a look to the right. We're going to run into a 12th century saint statue from Portugal. And the name is Saint Anthony de Pau. In 1968, during the World's Fair, the Portugal government, they had a pavilion here. And when they showed up here in San Antonio, they showed up with this beautiful statue that's right here to your right. This is St. Anthony. Now, the reason that they placed him here, because in 1691, this is where Father Damien Massonet blessed the river and named this river the San Antonio River over 400 years ago.
St. Anthony Padua.
In front of you, to the right of the trees, there's a church that likes to hide back there. That's St. Joseph's Catholic Church. In 1868, the Germans were determined to build a church in their native language, and they built this beautiful church stone by stone. Now, this church did not have a roof or windows for over 40 years. And then in 1902, by way of Munich, Germany, they brought in these beautiful stained glass windows that occupies all the windows in there today. They also have an all-male choir that sings in German once a month, and the name is San Antonio Lichterkreuz. In front of you, to your left, if you look up, is the Hilton at Palacio del Rio, the palace on the river. In 1968, during the World's Fair, we invested in need of another hotel, and we needed it fast. This was the last hotel built for the World's Fair. We had about 255 days left before the World's Fair started. This hotel was built in 200 days. Now, the way they built this hotel that fast, if you look up at those square modular rooms, they look like boxes. Each one of those rooms was built 6 miles south of here, completely furnished. The beds were made, the rugs thrown in there, towels hanging in the bathroom, a little Bible on the table. They were transported over here 10 a day on a flatbed truck. And when they arrived over here, that's 7,000 pounds for each of those units, and they're completely identical. They raised them up with a crane and threw them right on top of each other like Legos. One in, one out, both of them down. At the end of the day, they finished with 500 rooms ready for the World Fair.
Wow, what color is that?
Just over 7 months.
Purple.
This record is in the World's Guinness Book of Records for us, but this size of a structure built this fast. This technology left here and it went to the country of Egypt. And in Egypt, they built a couple very similar to this one. The nickname of this hotel is the Lego Hotel because of this. Now, we're going to wait for this.
May meron. Dadaan. Traffic.
Now we're gonna make a left under this bridge. As we make this left, you guys are gonna have a very nice view of this hotel because we're gonna be right under it. You'll get to see how these rooms have that in and out effect a lot closer. But as I'm making the turn, I do gotta mention that we have 3 loading areas. We just came out of the River Center. That one to us is considered to be our most popular one. Our second loading area is coming up on the right, past this bridge. And this is called La Historia. And the third one we'll see down the river in a little bit, and it's called the Aztec. As we pass this bridge, and we do look to your left, and we look up at these rooms, the way they stack these rooms up, the one room is like the balcony of the other room. And if you'd like to compare some times, look at this little building here on the right with the green lights on it, our customer service building. That little building, it took a year and a half to build. When this hotel on the left with 500 rooms only took 7 months.
7 months.
I still can't figure that one out. We're getting now ready to enter one of the most historical areas of all of San Antonio, and it's coming up in front of you past this bridge on the left. It's called La Villita, the small village. And this is the oldest village in San Antonio. In 1722, this is where we had 3,000 soldiers show up here from Spain to establish the 5 missions that we have here today. The Alamo is one of them. And then the early 1800s, the Germans came to settle down here. If you look to your left where all those little white flags are dangling, that's the architect and the picture designs of the Germans. Some of the best food and of course some of the best food is in that little spot.
Yeah, the
right
white
there.
flags.
Oh, see.
In front of you on your left coming up is the Arneson Theater. This came to us in 1941. This is where we broadcast our river parades, concerts, and events throughout the year.
Well, this is where we
And
can
this little stage here on your right, Sandra Bullock made this stage very famous for us in the movie Miss Congeniality back in the year 2000.
Sandra Bullock, no?
I always thank Sandra because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have anything to say about this stage. Thank you, Sandra. The bridge you're going under is called Rosita's Bridge. Rosita Fernandez was a pioneer in the Tejano music back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. In 1968, Lady Bird Johnson gave her the title of San Antonio First Lady of Song. In front of you, coming up on the right, the Briscoe Western Art Museum, 1930 to 1968. This was our main library. In 68 to 2001, it became the Horseburg World Circus Museum. And inside this museum today is known to have Pancho Villa's last known saddle, General Santa Anna's ceremonial swords in there, and they have a bunch of real nice crafty stuff from the Native Indians and a bunch of stuff from Gene Autry and John Wayne from their Western movies, some of the saddles and clothing that they wore in those Western movies. And I really love these guys because since I'm retired military, if you're a veteran, it's for free to come in this museum, and I come 2 or 3 times out of the year.
Nice.
Now, this bridge is one of 5 cast iron bridges that we have on this river, but this one particularly, I always knock on something to give me good luck, because this bridge is the lowest one, and I haven't had nobody bump their heads on it yet. And that's the last seat I gotta worry about right there. And you're good. We made it.
All right, sir.
This little island right here on the right is called Marriage Island. On the average year, we have over 500 ceremonies on this island. And if you look at it very closely, it's in the shape of a heart. And it's been in that shape for hundreds of years because the cypress roots keep it in that shape. Whoever marries on this island is supposed to bring them good fortunes. Yesterday we had 6 marriages on this island. They were backed up on the sidewalk right here, back to back. Unbelievable. There's a narrow crossing right here in front of you, and this is called Old Mills Crossing, very popular in 1890 for Teddy Roosevelt, the Rough Riders, and Pancho Villa to use this crossing. And they loved it because it's narrow, shallow, and very hard packed, so it's real easy for them to water their horses and wash their buggies. On your right is the Westin Hotel. Inside this hotel today is known to have 17th century European castle furnishings in there. And also when the San Antonio Spurs play their basketball games, this is where the visiting teams stay at. So when my Chicago Bulls show up to town, I'm on the other side of the street trying to get an autograph. If you look to your left on top of this building, there's a beautiful
Wow,
flag on
this
this
one.
building. This is called the Tower Light building, but look at it very carefully.
Tower light.
Because if you see those gargoyles that stick out of this building at the very, very top, those gargoyles were featured in the first Ghostbuster movies back
Oh.
in 1984.
With Slimer.
Now we have these two brothers, they're called the Smith brothers. In 1929, they're the ones that purchased this building and added that feature to this building. They also
the building?
added, if you look
There.
to your left, right
It's
below the
nice.
second floor windows, these facial faces. Now the Smith brothers, they were very superstitious back in
Hindi
those days.
nasisira, no? Grabe
And when
siguro.
they added all these features
Huh?
to this building, this was supposed to help them ward off the evil spirits and bad business. But in 1929, we had the stock market crash. And the poor
natin
Smith brothers,
ginagamit
that's
to.
the same year they purchased this building for $3 million, and they lost it to 10 cents to the dollar.
Whoa.
Ouch. This devastated them so severely that they never recovered after that. They were broke the rest of their lives. Very sad for the Smith brothers. As we're passing this bridge, coming up on the right, the International Center. This today is the trading offices of Mexico, Canada, and the United States. Now, if you look behind me, above the bridge, because the designers of this building, the Tower Light building, they wanted this building to look like a battleship.
Ayun yung hotel natin. no?
Yeah, check that out.
Oh, yeah, it looks like a battleship. Yeah, man. Look at that, guys.
Underneath this building here on the right
Like-
is
like
one
the
of the
TV
two
battleship.
marinas. The houses of 43
Parang
battery-operated
battleship
boats.
siya.
Ah,
We just transitioned our boats to batteries about a year ago. The building straight in front of you is the oldest courthouse in Texas. It's called the Bexar County Courthouse, 1852, and completed in 1856.
pa-shout out.
Now we're gonna make this nice little right turn here, and as we make this
Look at
turn,
that. So
there's
many.
gonna be a bridge right in front of you. But what I'd like you to do is to look right above the bridge because there's a chain link fence with hundreds of locks on it all the way across. This is called love lock fence. The locals, they come over here, they bring a lock with them, and when they stand on this bridge, they promise their love
This
to
one,
each
man,
other.
Ano to?
There's
I
a lot.
love you, baby.
Ano?
Love lock.
Ay,
They
love
put the lock on and then they throw the key in the
Puntahan pa lang
river.
nga natin yan.
But I always say there's a little city park on the left. That they meet at the park, they engage on this bridge, and then they can divorce at this courthouse. On the other side, if you're serious, look how convenient. Look to your left. The very first business here on the left is the courthouse. And then the guy will change his hat real quick and it becomes a wedding chapel. How about that? You can't get no better than that. But there's just about every imaginable kind of lock behind us on this bridge. And some people just stand on that bridge just to read the locks because each lock has a personal saying to them. Some people come back a year or two later after they put their lock up there, and my God, they spend the whole day up there trying to find that poor lock. Coming up on the right is the Alamo Bank Building, 1927. And then in 1998, the Berry Plaza, they made a hotel out of it. They're the ones that built this nice bridge right here to make it easy for us to get to the left, which is the main plaza. I'm gonna slow down right here because if you look to your left, look at the center of the plaza and then look way to the back. If you see it, that's the oldest cathedral in Texas. It's called the St. Fernando Cathedral.